Are we live? I think. Link wasn't working. Are we good? That should work. Should work. Maybe refresh. Good morning, guys. Just give it a couple minutes. Just wait for everyone to come on. I just opened up Twitter. I shit you not. I just opened up Twitter, and the first tweet I read, I don't know if there's anyone listening to this, but the first tweet I read that literally says, "Lost all my accounts today. Gonna chill for the rest of the year." Basically the same as me. Basically the same. That's nice. I am honestly not joking. The first tweet. I'll wait for everyone to join. So yeah, I open up Twitter, and you guys know I don't really F with Twitter much. But yeah, the first tweet, I open up Twitter. I don't even know who this lady is, but lost all my funded accounts today. Gonna chill for the rest of the year and enter 2026 better than ever. Good thing I freaking love trading. I mean, I don't know who this is, Rebecca, whoever you are. I'm not even following her. Why do people? I don't know how Twitter works, but I'm not even following this person. But anyway, yeah. I mean, we could scroll through, and there's probably a couple tweets like that, right? Lost all my funded accounts today. Gonna chill for the rest of the year. I mean, pretty much me too. I pretty much are starting again. So I took $38,000 for the month of December. Very happy with that, but also very, very peed off at the same time. Just for the last couple of weeks, I've just not been hitting trades. My bias has been off. My trades have been awful, and honestly, I'm a bit annoyed. But it is part of the game, as annoying as it is. When you are right so often, there's going to come times where you are obviously wrong quite a few times. So I hate statistics sometimes when it's like, even with a 60-70% win rate, you can still eat shit for a good week. It shouldn't happen, but unfortunately it just does happen. So I'm more annoyed about the people that have joined over the past couple of weeks, because it's like, unfortunately for them, they're going to just, their bias is going to be completely messed up. So it's frustrating having a business, having people join, and then obviously you have spells where it's like the past couple of weeks, right? It's been awful. So yeah, it's annoying from a business point of view and a reputation point of view. But luckily enough, most of my members are people who have been here for a long time. So I am grateful for that. But yeah, it's been frustrating for me, definitely. I've kept all my drawings on from yesterday because I really want to go through like the shit show of yesterday, and I genuinely do not mind breaking down what I was thinking the whole day and why I stuck with my long. So if you weren't here yesterday, I pretty much got teared a new arsehole. So I now have two bum holes because one was teared open yesterday from the trade, and then today I'm back again. Refreshed, revitalized, and 70 new accounts. Yay, bank account. I made $38,000 this month and probably spent about $12,000 this month. Annoying, very annoying. Anyway, the longs I was anticipating yesterday was pretty much, and it's really interesting because I've kept the drawing on specifically to kind of show myself I could have just waited, right? So this is the area that I think you should be able to see this fairly clearly on your screen. But anyway, this was the level on the pre-market that I really wanted to see break. Okay, so I shorted, which was a really good trade. I shorted this ATR midpoint here, right? I shorted that live. That went for like 50, 60 points. That was a good trade, right? Again, like on Monday, got the 50, 60 points. Should have just called it, right? Got the good short, and then I wanted, because I was anticipating this was my drawing from yesterday, so I haven't changed anything. This is what I was anticipating yesterday, and I even drew the double bottom, right? I wanted to see a low, bounce, and then a reclaim. What made this really hard for me is we got it, but we got it like here, right? But it never followed through, right? It just completely broke and went lower. Now, the fact I had this as my support, which is obviously just the full halfway back, right? You've got your halfway back that traded in the overnight, which is why this arrow is here. There was a high to high, which is what I traded again. What a frustrating day. I actually ended up trading 100-point long on the overnight here, and I took 100 points on the NQ. Just to pretty much give it all back on this halfway back here and more, right? So very, very frustrating, even for I do want to class myself as a professional trader. And even for me, it was a very tricky day yesterday. And boy, I don't know if I had FOMO, I just more had frustration more than anything. I guess tilt, right? Traditional tilt, you would probably class that as. But anyway, point being is we never got that break. We never got that that retest of the support that I wanted to see. Basically, all we got was ATR down, 2 times ATR down, 1.5 ATR down, 2 times ATR down, ATR reversal, which we know when you've printed 4 ATR downs, the ATR reversal is never always a reversal as such. It's kind of a potential. It's either going to be a drop base drop, which is what we had, and that's a very classical example of a drop base drop. Right, so you can measure that move, and this ATR reversal here, which is why we changed the color from green to blue to kind of signify it's not always going to be a reversal as such. What you want to do is you want to measure the negative 100s to the upside, to the downside, and if it's going to not work, i.e. go up, you know that negative 100 is going to get completed, which is, if we just measure that here, see, that completed, and it completed. That negative 100 is the exact ETH low, which is again pretty wild. So the long never set up, and really I should have just not taken it, but I did because I had a preconceived notion of, hey, I want to see this go down to 360s to 390s, which it did. So I was kind of inclined to stick with the bias I had, which was to take that trade. So I did take that trade, and then since I had that bias the whole day, therefore then after was kind of just a complete chop for me, and I ended up just trying to trade the longs, give it too much room. And obviously just the true trend was just obliterated. And to be honest, I was so far gone on that trade before the true trend to the downside even started. My bias was already out of the window at that point. So I was already down so much on the day in terms of multiple accounts. It just made I was never really going to get back. So really I should have just took off. But those days are really, really difficult in the moment. I'll take those drawings off just for now, just so we can kind of go through what I want to see today, because those support and resistance levels are obviously from yesterday. We'll fast forward this and go forward. So you can see here we've got the large deviations down. Whenever we get these large deviations down on the true trend, we typically do get reversals. So all I'm going to do is just move these to the right just to kind of show you this area, and we'll move this out to kind of show where we are. And of course, we've had those rebalances back up into those true trends. So we've had the deviation down, triple deviation down, back above, and all I'm really anticipating, I don't necessarily know if we're going to get it, but this is going to be one of those days where you have to just set those limits, and if they trade, it's brilliant, and if they don't, you have to sit on hand. And I'm telling myself this more than anything. But you can see on the overnight, we've had no true trend to the downside. Everything has been bullish. We've had green diamonds on the lows, HR reversals on the lows, diamonds on the lows, triangles, diamonds, and true trend. That is like everything you need to know to trade the long side. Interestingly as well, I know we're not yet green on the BX yet, but we did come down, and Sam made me aware of this today. We did come down to the magic 36. So I always mark these 36 to 37.5 areas on the BX, and every time we get into those sort of areas, if I just mark this on here, I don't know, they always end up getting taken off. Negative 30, call it 36.5, 36.5. If you zoom out, you can kind of see we tend to bounce at those areas. I know you've got larger deviations down, but if you look actually on the actual chart where those bounces come on the daily time frames, are typically around that 36 to 37. So in fact, negative. So yeah, we are down, and you would class that as kind of, you know, a fair discount in terms of the BX as well as the halfway back that we're in. Let me just 7. So yeah, negative 37 on the BX, and of course we don't need to necessarily draw this, but we can see that we are down into this halfway back, and we came down all the way to the 62 yesterday once, and we've traded that again today. I guess it would have been overnight session. So we've had 1 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, and you can see on these ATRs, sorry, on these lows, you can see we've got 1 time frame up. So low, higher, low, just right. Now they're expanding higher, and 1 time framing up. So 1 time framing is to the upside, and the weekly low is just below us. If we go to a half an hour time frame, all I'm really looking at, this is a 3.5 times ATR, so you don't really want to fade the 3.5 ATRs just like this. Perfect example again on a half an hour time frame. Why I should have just stuck out, right? 3.5 times ATR down. What did we do for the rest of the day? Nowhere. 3.5 times ATR, most likely going to be a trend day. And if it's not, I said yesterday it was going to be, I think yesterday I said longs day only or something like that. And we got absolutely shit on all day. So like, obviously there's a caveat. I wouldn't have known that 3.5 times. I guess actually I would have known that. Yeah, 9:30. Sorry, 9:30. We had the 3.5 times down, which set the scene for the rest of the day. This was the 10:30 candle. So again, like, give it half an hour is a good rule of thumb, which is why I created this 3.5 times down. Give it half an hour. You can see by that next half an hour we're down, and then pretty much it goes nowhere. So I'm going to be using that today as my gauge, 3.5 times up. I know we've had news, so maybe a little bit off, but I do genuinely believe longs are going to be much easier to trade. And of course, if they're not. I can't really do much more about that other than that. I have a bias, and I just have to stick to it. HR reversal off the 62, green diamonds, triangles, true trend. Like, got to follow the trend up. And if for whatever reason it breaks, this is why we use ATM stops. And I will be very much so adamant on using my fixed stops, because on the accounts that I blew yesterday, I was just giving it too much room. And of course, doing that with even just 2 micros can, if you get 500 points down, like, you've only got to mess up 1 or 2 trades and you really do get yourself in a hole. So yeah, it's about knowing, I guess, realizing that you're in a hole, and then in that moment trying to just change. But for whatever reason yesterday, I just got myself in a bit of a tricky spot, and I kind of just married that bias. But I wasn't expecting 955s to break. I still know that level in my head, even though I don't have it marked on the screens. 955s was my mental stop yesterday. It was my hard stop, and once that broke, which is what, down 5s, pretty much. I mean, we marked 955s out here, so that was my hard stop yesterday. Yeah, that was my hard stop yesterday, 955s, and it was pretty much risking close to this 62. Not that much different. And really, I mean, we only got, what was that, 50, 60 points? So if I just used my hard stop as my entry and gave it 60 points, I would have been absolutely good, right? But there you go, that's trading. But yes, that's my bias for the day. I am going to be sort of neutral to bullish. And I'm aware that my bias has been incorrect for the past week or two. So yeah, just take that with a pinch of salt. But trend is up. ATRs are showing the way. True trend is there. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. ETH high is pretty much where we are. So it's probably going to be a trend day. But I think closing above or below the ETH high or ETH high is a 50-50. Whereas on the ETH low, it's like a 60-40. So I don't think there's much edge on that. I think pullbacks... reasonable pullback should be brought up, but just be aware that it's more of a 50-50 if we close above or below. Sam just check me on that, but I think I am right saying that. So yeah, the day could be done in terms of being right close to ETH high, but I think there will be some trades above and below here. I'm looking to go long. I mean, this may have already happened, and this might even be a pullback, because if we do trade ETH high, you're probably only going to want to see like a 50-point pullback. So I'll have to have a look at the stats, but an 80 point pullback puts you down to the hourly high. So I think anywhere I'm probably going to have to, I don't want to, but yeah, I don't really want to bid any higher than 150s. I just don't think at that point, if 150s trades, that's about, well, no, technically, I mean, you could actually not trade the ETH high, sell off on the open, then buy the pullback into the ETH high. So yeah, that's what I would be going with. I'm hoping the ETH high doesn't trade before the 150s, 160s trades. It probably will because it's so close to it. But if it doesn't, I would be a buyer down there. And of course, that is just a nice rebalance of the newsprint on CPI. So that's what I'm going with today. If the ETH high trades, I may just have to reassess it because at that point you're going to have a 100 point pullback from the ETH high, and if we recover, I just don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I'll have to just double check the stats. But we do have a large deviation on the true trend. They typically can signify a reversal, so we just have to be cautious in this area is what I'm trying to say. I will be using just 1 micro per account today, and I will be sticking with that. So other than that, guys, it's been a long one this morning. Again, frustrating week, frustrating past couple of weeks. I would say this week more than last week. Last week, some good trades, some bad trades, but this week just total shit show for me, really. Which, to be honest, holiday season, VIX expiration, contract rollover, like, duh, but it is what it is, right? Not perfect all the time, but this is why professionals are professionals, right? So I would probably class myself as not a professional just yet, but I think like once you get into that 20-year, 30-year veteran period, you've come out of, or you've come across and come over so many things. This is why people are professionals. This is why people are veterans, right? They're good at what they do. So I would say I'm semi-professional. So anyway, without further ado, guys, we're going to go live on Whoop. And anyone watching this on YouTube, maybe if you're wanting to join in the new year, just simply because obviously next week is going to be Christmas week. So yeah, it's entirely up to you. But I will still be trading every single day I can trade. But any half days or any days where the market's closed, obviously I'll be with family. But any full trading days in the actual trading calendar, best believe I will be here. And hopefully, like I say, going into the new year, momentum, volume, and I guess repeatable, predictable patterns will show themselves much more than they have been. Okay, everyone on Whoop, I will go live on there now, and yeah, we'll trade on there. So I will see you tomorrow. Is it Thursday today? Friday tomorrow? Yeah, Friday tomorrow. So I'll be on YouTube tomorrow.